Okay, welcome to dividing numbers. Today I want to talk about dividing by single numbers or single digits. So the first one, and this is understanding your multiplication tables as well. So how many times is 7 going to 35? Well, knowing your multiplication table, 7 times 5 is 35. So you would say it would go in 5 times. You would say 5 times 7 is 35. Subtract it. You get a 0 there. So technically the answer you're looking for is 5. And if you want to know what the remainder is, R, it's 0. So now I'm going to do how many times does 7 go into 36? Well, if I know over here 7 times 5 is 35, I can put a 5 here. 7 times 5 is the 35. You want to subtract it 1. So your answer is 5 remainder of 1. Now what about 7 goes into 52? Well, I know 7 times 7 is 49. And I also know that 7 times 8 is 56. So it's going to be between the 49 and 56. That's 52. So I know my answer has to be this right here. It's the lower end, which is 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. We subtract. You get 3. So my answer that I'm looking for is 7 remainder of 3. Now I'm going to add another digit. So now how many times does 3 go into 11? Well, I know 3 times 3 is 9. So I'm going to put a 3 here. So 3 times 3 is 9. I'm going to subtract. And I get 27. Then I know that, okay, how many times does 3 go into 27? Well, 9 times 3 is 27. So I know my answer has to be 9. So when I say 9 times 3 is 27, subtract it, I get a remainder of 0. So your answer would just be 39. Now I'm going to use 3, but now I'm going to say, how many times does it go into 120? Well, 3 times 12, 3 goes into 12. So you're wanting to know, okay, 4 times 3 is 12. So I know that it's going to be 4. So 4 times 3 is 12. I'm going to subtract. Now, I've got a 0 here. So then I need to bring down my other 0. So how many times does 3 go into 0? Well, what times 3 is 0? Well, I know 3 times 0 is 0. So my answer is 40. The common mistake is just to put a 4 there, but it is a 40. And over here in the box, I'm going to check that my work. So if you want to multiply 40 times 3, 0 times 3 is 0, 4 times 3 is 120. That is what we were dividing into. So we know that our answer of 40 is correct. Now, how many times does 8 go into 149? Well, like I'm saying, let's just break down to the 14 first. So 8 goes into 14 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. So then when I subtract, I get a 6. Then I have to bring my 9 down. So now 8 times 8, I know is 64. So 8 times 8 is 64. Subtract, and you have 5. So my answer will be 18 remainder of 5. Now, how many times does 9 go into 337? Well, I know 9 times 3 is 27, so I'm going to put a 3 here, 27 and subtract, and I get 67, because I'm going to bring down that 7 now. So now how many times does 9 go into 67? Well, I know 9 times 7 is 63, so I'm going to put a 7 here, a 63 and subtract, and I get a 4. That is my remainder. So my answer is going to be 37 remainder of 4. I'm going to get a larger number. I want to put a single digit into 1,000. So how many times does 5 go into 1,098? Well, 5, if you look at it, 5 goes into 10 perfectly. Goes in twice. I'm going to subtract 0. I'm going to bring down my 9. 5 goes into 9 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. I'm going to subtract it. And I get 4, and I'm going to bring down my 8. So now I know that 9 times 5 is 45. So I know that has to be a 9. And then I'm going to subtract the 45, and I get a remainder of 3. So my answer is going to be 219 remainder of 3. So in the next one, try this on your own. And you can pause this video. You can see what you can come up with. So 7 goes into, we're looking at 58. How many times? Well, I know 8 times 7 is 56. So that has to be an 8, subtract 56, and you get a 29. So then how many times does 7 go into 29? Well, I know 7 times 4 is 28. So you would have a 4. 4 times 7 is 28. 17, because I'm bringing down the 7. And then finally, 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract my 14, I get a 3. So my answer is 842 remainder of 3. So in my last one that I want to do, how many times does 4 go into 7,482? Well, let's break this up like what we've been doing, piece by piece. 4 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract and you get a 3. Bring down the 4. Now 4 goes into 34. I know 8 times 4 is 32. So it's going to be an 8. Subtract the 32. It's going to be a 2. I'm going to bring my 8 down. Now 4 goes into 28. Well, I know that 7 times 4 is 28. So it goes in evenly. So there's my 28. Now, I subtract and I get 0. Now, here's where we mess up at, where we think we're finished. Well, we still have to bring down the 2. And then we still have to say, okay, 4 goes into 2 how many times? It's going to be 0. And 0 times 4 is 0, so I'm going to subtract 0, and get a remainder of 2. So my answer I'm looking for is 1870 remainder of 2. Well, I hope this video helps. You can continue to go back and repeat this as many times as you want and do some other practice problems. And just remember to break each problem down step by step like what I have been doing. Thank you for listening.